Hi everyone, I am Brittany the Cosmic Lunar Soul. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you're subscribed, welcome back. You're watching an installment of my Witchcraft 101 series where I help new witches navigate their journey. I'll be covering 3 topics: grounding and centering, protection magic, and cleansing. They are the 3 topics that I think all baby witches or witchlings or neophytes or whatever you want to call yourself should know before they start diving into the heavier stuff. So today we are going to be focusing on grounding and centering. This video is going to cover 5 topics. What is grounding and centering, how to ground and center, and also how it helps you with your spellcraft. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to touch on is grounding versus centering. A lot of times they're used together because it's really hard to do one without the other. It's a sort of like yin-yang situation or balancing of the scales sort of moment, and sometimes they're even used interchangeably. But I do want to point out they are different. So even though they're different, they're not separate. Think of it as like a seesaw. If one end changes, the other end changes. Does that make sense? I hope so. Now let's talk about it. What are those differences? Grounding is basically managing the energy that you have. So have you ever experienced just having way too much energy? It sometimes manifests in not being able to sit still, not being able to sleep at night, and you just feel like you have so much energy and you just can't expend it. Well, that's because you're not grounded. And then the opposite is also true. So have you ever just felt so drained that you just can't do anything? It's very hard to be motivated. Well, that's because your energy is out of whack and you need to be grounded. So how does that differ from centering? Centering has more to do with your mental state, and some people like to say how you're connected to your higher self or something like that. So basically, if you're not centered, it's a period where you're not aligned with yourself. You're just out of alignment in some sort of way. Now, do you see how they're different? But do you also see how they're connected? Now that we know what grounding versus centering is, let's talk about how you can ground and center. The most common way that people are going to suggest for you to ground and center is through meditation. You can find guided meditations on YouTube. You can find guided meditation apps. There's a lot of suggestion for meditation. Now, that being said, I know meditation kind of has the connotation that you need to be sitting still or laying still and focusing and clearing your mind, but there's so much more to meditation than that. If you want me to go further into the different types of meditation, comment below and let me know, because I know the sit still, lay still meditation does not work for me. So let me know what works for you. Some other ways you can ground and center yourself is cleaning. I know that does not ground or center me, but I do know that I have friends that feel very grounded and centered after a really nice cleaning. And really what cleaning does is help them expel energy. So if you are dealing with being ungrounded and you have a lot of energy to spare, maybe this is a better option for you than meditation. Another option is hiking. I really love this because this gives me a chance to connect with nature, and you can ground in the traditional sense of, sitting with your back against a tree for a moment, and then, or just touching plants and feeling the earth beneath your feet. So going on a hike can also help you expel some of that extra energy and just help you ground and center. Leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite methods for grounding and centering are. We talked about grounding versus centering, what grounding is, what centering is, and different methods that you can use to achieve both. But how does this help with spell work? Well, first and foremost, spell work requires, depending on the spell, it requires some level of concentration. And if you are just feeling very drained, or even having the opposite experience where you just can't focus, you have too much energy, that's not going to help your spell work. That's not going to manifest in the way that you want. Basically, if you don't have control over that energy, how can you control it in a spell, right? So again, if you're not controlling your energy, it makes doing spell work hard. So that means if you do a spell and you're not in control of your energy, you can overexert yourself. That means you can put way too much energy into a spell and completely drain your batteries. And that can manifest in just being really exhausted, or it could be worse. It could be sick. It could really make you sick. So you need to make sure that you're grounded and centered in order to properly do your spell work. So basically what I want you to do is find the method of grounding and centering that works for you. Again, let me know in the comments what your favorite method of grounding and centering is. And don't forget to watch the next video of my Witchcraft 101 series where I cover some very important protection magic tips. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.